everybody, and welcome to the show, Feeling Well. I'm Ralph, and I'm here today with...
Lloyd. Good to be here.
This is take two on episode 4. You missed 5 minutes of golden content.
They're fucking gone now.
Because of me, because I fucked up with the recording equipment. But you know,
I would
it's
take
not
responsibility if it was my fault, but it was not.
It's not easy being simultaneously the show's producer and its primary engine of charisma.
Exactly.
It's hard to multitask. I'm like Kanye West.
I just show up. At the allotted time. Mm-hmm. The logistics are taken care of. I am a
your talent, really.
Oh yeah. But it's that was a warm up. We're into it now.
It's a dark and cold night in Brooklyn.
That's right.
We've got our beers. Because you can't pod sober.
Oh.
Podding sober is like driving sober. You never want to do it.
Oh, parody, not actionable.
You ever drive drunk?
I think I've driven. I've never driven like drunk.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's
What's
never been
drunk. Sabotage a bachelor party drunk. That's a little callback for the real heads.
Oh
yeah.
Boy.
I've probably been over the limit a few times, but I've been pretty careful of that in the past.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never been like a wild boy.
I bet you've driven pretty drunk.
No,
because there's kind of an irony to our dynamic. Because you seem like the mild-mannered one, but really you're a caged animal. And I'm a porcelain cherub in life. Yeah.
Is that like the thesis of the podcast here? It's like every episode you're going to try and reveal the horrible truth.
It's like you listen to the first few episodes and it's like, okay, that's the asshole, that's the
clearly
nice guy.
Clearly Ralph is coded as the villain.
Yes, very much.
But then you progress and it's like, oh,
wow,
the cracks are starting to show in Lloyd. Like I wonder.
Yeah.
If we keep doing this and if we get into it, if we really get into it.
Sure.
How was your week, man? It was a bit of a...
It was fine. I did some cool stuff.
Yeah?
As is my want. I was reminded of something regarding drunk driving.
Oh.
This is... okay, so I used to know this guy who in college, and he was like... He happened to be bisexual, but he was like the straightest seeming guy.
Sure.
And like, and by that I mean just like he was like emblematic of being like a straight dork, like not just straight, but like he like modeled his like look and manner after like Bruce Campbell from like The Evil Dead.
Oh, sure.
And he was like okay, all the hallmarks of being like not just straight, but like a straight dork. He was
have a Captain America shirt today or something.
A Batman shirt, actually. Yes.
Oh, I see.
This is probably problematic to say, but he was like all about like his car and his leather jacket and his smoking cigarettes and Quentin Tarantino and all that.
Yeah.
And
all hallmarks of kind of mainstream masculinity.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, he fucked a lot. I mean, he was a pretty good-looking guy, and he seemed to mostly fuck women, but like occasionally he would have like, it was like twinks were like his guilty pleasure.
I see.
And I'm not saying you should regard the dick as a guilty pleasure. I'm saying in his unfortunate, it seemed to be like that was the case with him. And this was like authentically who he was. This was like who he was in his bones. He was also very gross. Like there would be months where he like eats pizza every day. He would have like a pizza and a 2-liter bottle of Pepsi every day. And he was just like an embarrassing cornball. And he was like violent. He would like assault people.
Oh boy.
And he was like, I don't know. He was just like really always like a source of chaos, very self-destructive, drank a lot, did a lot of drugs, treated his girlfriends, he like cheated on them all the time and like imploded every relationship. Just like really kind of like a dangerous yet corny guy.
That doesn't sound ideal.
And of course I consorted with him for several years, but he would drive drunk all the time.
Oh yeah.
He would like once he had 18 beers and was on MDMA and like drove home to Jersey through like a blizzard or whatever.
Oh boy.
And one time it was like late after this party, and apparently he was like driving to a diner with like a fuck buddy, and he was like high on MDMA and very drunk, and he rear-ended someone. He rear-ended actually a a nurse who was coming home from a night shift.
Oh, God.
So I'm sure that was...
Man, you have a lot of shitty friends.
This is a recurring theme of the podcast. Oh. I don't talk to him anymore, but look, I'm sure that was pretty not ideal for the nurse, having a fucked up college student colliding to your car. And her car was fucked up. His car was absolutely totaled.
Who?
And because his car was totaled, I drove him to see a lawyer, whatever lawyer his parents hooked him up with.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just sitting there. For some reason, I'm just a witness. For some reason, I'm just in this with him now. And the lawyer's they're talking. But then at one point, he's like, okay, look, I know this mental health professional. Wink, wink. He didn't say wink, wink, but that was the implication.
Uh-huh.
You go see him. You pay him $500. He'll say, you got a mental illness. You got substance abuse issues. It'll go a long way. When you see the judge.
Oh no.
So. Some days later, I drive him to meet this guy, this quote unquote mental health professional, and his office is like a trailer in the middle of rural New Jersey.
Okay.
And we're with nothing else around. We're are we in the right spot? And we walk up to the trailer and there's a waste bin next to the door and it's full of empty tall boys.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know.
Oh God.
And the man appears and he was such a ridiculous character. He's a perfectly round man with a beard and he was wearing a cowboy hat. And he was wearing what do you call it? Just a pullover, but that zips up to the neck or whatever. And he was wearing that, but he had it zipped all the way down, and he was wearing nothing underneath. So his chest is exposed. And I just remember so distinctly, he kept scratching his chest throughout the meeting, and there would be gradually more and more red irritation where he was scratching his naked flesh.
Was he nervous being around you guys?
No, not at all. He was this insane, gregarious, just shithead. He was oh, hey, come in. Wow. And we go into the office and it's a fucking dump. There's just stuff all over the place. It's cramped. He's sitting in a chair. We're sitting on a couch. He's scratching his naked flesh underneath his sweater, not wearing an undershirt, and he's just a slob. He was really a slob. And he's talking to us, and he's yeah, I mean, especially in New York State, they go crazy with these drunk driving laws. You have I mean, Jesus, people drink. You have these mothers against drunk driving, and now it's ridiculous. You can't even keep in mind, my friend slammed his car into another person. Okay, but then he proceeds with this bullshit psychological evaluation where he asks him all these leading questions. He's shit do you feel yourself medicating with alcohol? Does substance abuse run in your family? Are you a child of divorce? Were you ever molested as a child? And my friend is slowly answering yes.
Starting to catch on as things progress.
No. As for the molestation, and he's looking at me I'm gonna help or chime in or something.
Are you the adult in the room here?
I'm just for some reason I'm the witness to this. And he's
dear.
There may have been some of that back in the day. He's just lying about being molested. And then at some point there's a rapping on the trailer door and the guy answers it, and I guess it was just this jabbering homeless guy, and they just have this brief nonverbal interaction where he's and he's Henry, and he leaves and he's oh, that was Henry, he's a good guy but he likes to come around and blah 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 blah. And then eventually we leave and it was just insane. It was
rural New Jersey somewhere?
I believe so. I wish I could remember every detail because it was one thing after another. It was fucking wild. And then sure enough, months later, I have this shoot and this friend is working on the shoot and he had to come in late that day because he had court in the morning, and he comes to the set and he's got this fucking smirk on his face. He's all chipper. And he's got the minimum charges.
Oh, so, it worked.
So,
jeez.
Moral of the story: our justice system is great. Feigning a mental illness to not be held accountable for your
drunk driving and rear-ending
your horrible behavior.
Oh boy!
Can you imagine such a thing? I'm sure people don't do that every day. on twitter.com.
Oh no.
Yeah, he was a bad guy. I mean, look,
sounds bad. I mean, listen, I don't think that I've driven drunk to the extent that it would be dangerous. Over the limit. I don't think.
Have you known any dirt bags like that in your life?
Like people that will do that just kind of wing it?
It doesn't have to be drunk driving, but have you known any like kind of depraved characters who have been in your circle until they become so extra that they fall out?
Okay, yes, I have. Guys that I've known for a while who but they've kind of reformed.
Am I one of these people?
No, you don't. I don't know you like that, Ralph.
Sometimes I feel like I might be. Yeah.
No, like you are menacing, sure, in a way that's very controlled.
Yes, thank you. I take that as a compliment.
I mean, I know. Yes, I mean, yeah. I assumed you would. Like, yeah. You're not.
I'm not out of control.
The evil you do is intentional.
Sure. Is that better?
No. I mean, okay. The evil still gets out, but
I like to think that the evil operates under certain principles.
Well, like I think if someone offends my principles, whatever those may be, I might. Well, actually, that's not true because I guess I kind of terrorize you in many ways. Like, is it better if 10 people get killed by like a militia or a wildfire? I don't know.
I don't know if that's a flattering analogy. I mean, what do I do? I make fun. I tell a few jokes here and there.
Listen,
occasionally I take a lot of Klonopin and ruin a party.
It's all.
I'm not putting people's lives in danger.
Sure. No,
and I think most of the people. I don't think I'm as much this way as I once was. But I even think when I was at my most confrontational, I would only get confrontational with people who I feel. I didn't really feel like I was punching down.
Okay.
And I
didn't feel like you were punching down.
No.
Like the people that are exposed to your
I thought like
more abrasive elements, they deserve it in some way.
Rightly or wrongly, something about them I thought was bad, so I wanted to shame them.
Okay.
But I think when there's someone who genuinely reads as like insecure or left out to me, my impulse is to try and include them and not just devour them like a shark.
Well, that's
if I may defend myself.
That's real big of you, Ralph. Oh, that's funny. No, I don't think I have known. Well, that's the thing though, right? Like if you have someone who is like, who is nice and who is like principled, but who is also like out of control and like endangers people, like that is, that is worse to me.
Who's like that?
I mean, someone who...
It's a weird combination of things.
I think
who's
it's
nice and principled, but out of control.
Yeah. I like well-meaning, perhaps, but undisciplined to the extent that it's like dangerous.
I see.
Does that track to you?
Sure, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, I know like that's not you, and that's not me either. Yeah. But I do know some of these guys who are like, by all accounts, fine human beings, but who kind of like their nature, they're like undisciplined in a way that is occasionally
they're
a problem.
Immature.
Yeah.
But to the extent that they would be dangerous.
Yes.
A danger to other people.
I've seen that come up in some people, whether that's like, self-destructive tendencies that kind of emerge when intoxicated, or whether that's like self-abnegation to the point where it becomes a problem for others. Like these are archetypes that I am pretty familiar with.
Like they're depriving themselves something to the extent that it makes them lash out.
People who are so self-effacing and like self-sacrificing that they just take it to a unhealthy place. And by doing that,
I just feel like you're describing yourself right now.
I'm not. Listen, I take care of myself. I enjoy my life, Ralph. Like, but
classic
I do
thing
know.
To say.
Huh?
Classic happy thing to say.
I love to say happy thing.
I guess you do seem happier these days.
I am,
but I'm more referring to like Lloyd Classic.
Lloyd Classic. No, I mean. That was a while ago.
Lloyd who would like sit in a bar being still angry about a Twitter argument he like got into with like a MAGA guy. Yeah.
No, I don't. I've never been like a poster to the extent where like I would let that stuff impact my life.
False, wrong. I remember once we were in a bar, it was you, me, and one other guy.
No,
and
you're right.
You were going on about like, yeah, I mean, this guy, he just posts this picture out of context, and I'm like, a picture is meaningless without context. And it was some conservative guy they were getting into an argument with, and my friend asks, like, well, why do you? I mean, you're not going to convince this person of anything. Why are you arguing with them? And you just kind of like looked at him, and you were like, kind of had a moment, you know, and like a vein was bulging on your head. And you said, "Well, I'm a poster. I'm a poster." No, you didn't say that. I made that up. You didn't say that, but you seemed stumped. You were like, "Why
this is simply what I do."
Posting is in my veins.
I must be here for a reason. Oh no. No, I remember that. Yeah.
That was back. I miss that, Lloyd. That was back when Lloyd was a prince among posters. That was back when before I deleted my Twitter, and now I'm a peasant. But that was back when I had some followers, and like all my friends were on there, and I used to look at Lloyd and be like, "That's the guy." I was like, "Watch that man." I would take someone aside and be like, "You want to post? Watch that man.
No,
watch him."
God, but
I love to watch him cook.
I was so sad back then. Like I was just desperately unhappy. Mm-hmm. Like I don't want to go back there, man. That was. Yeah.
I mean, you know, some people are born great posters. Some have greatness thrusted upon them.
Have I healed my way out of being a good poster?
With great posting comes great responsibility.
God, I guess after fashion I did post better back then.
No, you're a good poster, Lloyd. I'm just razzing you.
Oh, no, but you're right. There was an element of...
It's just different. Like, in the past, you would post things that made me laugh, and now you post videos of your cat.
That's right.
Your kitten.
I have...
You know, can I say something?
Sure.
This is going to be controversial.
I mean, listen, and I don't some context here. Like, I have a kitten. I got
Eugene.
it about 2 weeks ago.
Correct.
No. We're gonna bleep that name out. We're not gonna name my kitten.
The name of the kitten.
Yeah. All right. We're keeping that a secret.
You say the name in your tweets.
I do, don't I?
Yeah. And your friends said oh, we're little piggies for Eugene content here. That's true. That's already out there.
Okay, never mind. We can say the name of the kitten. I'm just all right. Listen,
you created a fucking Instagram account for the kitten.
I did. Okay,
Jesus
some context
Christ.
here. Hang on, calm down.
I'm perfectly calm.
You're shaking. Your hands are shaking.
That's not true.
They're shaking.
It's because I'm cold.
Okay, all right.
Go on with your preamble.
Okay, so I have a kitten. I got it about 2 weeks ago, and then a few days ago now, the woman who I adopted this kitten from, she emailed me checking in, and then asked me if there was an Instagram account for this cat, because it helps them to find new people to adopt their pets. They want to have their social media presence, and so I make this account for Eugene. This
I think you're lying.
No,
you're claiming you made this account out of the goodness of your heart. You're going to maintain an Instagram account just to help this animal shelter.
I'm not gonna maintain it a lot. It's a very easy thing to do.
I think
it's toggling over to a different thing. You think I'm trying to make my cat a celebrity? I'm not. That's not what I want to do.
I think you're taking the cheap route to more FIFOs.
I have more than enough FIFOs. Thank you very much.
Must be nice.
Yeah, and
dishonorable as a poster. Dishonorable is what I wanted to say. Speaking of which, I'm going to get back to I didn't even say what I wanted to say, but speaking of which, I got today. There's this Instagram model that I followed for a long time. She liked 3 of my posts today. She doesn't follow me. She liked 3 of my posts. 2 of them were selfies. But no follow. What is that about?
So she noticed your faves or something, and then navigated to your page.
I don't even think I faved. I think maybe I came up in her Discover tab or something.
Perhaps.
But it's
so she went to your page, she scrolled down, she found some selfies.
Follow me back, please. Follow me, please. Look, I'm not going to be fresh. I'm not going to take your following as an invitation to do whatever. Just a humble follow back, please. You'll be the crown jewel of my FIFO followership. Just please follow me back.
Oh, whoa.
I just wanted to shout that out there, you know? Look, maybe we've both dishonored ourselves as posters.
Perhaps we have.
All right.
Perhaps we have
All
today.
right.
Today we take the L.
But you're a worst poster. You're a worse poster because you've risen up in life. And I'm worse because I've fallen. So I have to grovel for FIFOs.
No, listen, I was very sensitive to the fact that I did make a Instagram for my special needs kitten, you know. And
but you seem to enjoy it.
You followed it immediately. Like,
yeah,
immediately.
I did. You know why?
Yeah, why's that?
Because because I'm a good friend.
All
right.
I didn't think of it that way.
All right.
But I see what you're saying.
You think
now.
I'm a cruel sicko. But that's why.
A real sick son of a bitch.
So wait, how is it a special needs kitten?
It has this condition called cerebellar hypoplasia, or it's also known as wobbly kitten syndrome. Mm-hmm. And so it just means he has trouble with his motor control functions, and so he falls down quite a bit.
All right, well, that makes me feel bad about what I'm about to say. But
I'm just going to sit back and prepare to receive this information.
Even with a kitten, now it's like I'm being ableist towards a kitten.
Yeah. Are you gonna?
Is that that's not one of the best looks? Is being an ableist kitten hater?
You're not going to be in very good company.
That's not helping my cause.
If you're worried about the optics of this, I don't have a lot of good news for you.
All right, I'm gonna
just spit it out.
I'm gonna soften it and say that the cat is disturbing to me.
Really?
The videos
disturbing to
I
you.
find, maybe this is just a me thing, but the cat seems like it just like reminds me of The Exorcist, just like the way it carries itself and like opens its eyes and looks around. It's like it's startling to me. It weirds me out, you know.
Oh.
But I feel this way with a lot of animals.
I know.
Like,
We've talked about animals quite a bit in the past before the pod started.
Something about like animals, you know, they can appear so alive and personable, but they're also so unknowable that sometimes they kind of they feel alarming to me. Like I'm witnessing just like this raw just canister of life that I can never possibly fathom, and it can never possibly fathom me. But I'm like, oh, isn't this cute? Oh, here's this, that.
Sure. I remember our conversations about like purebred dogs specifically, and I think there is, like, I do agree with you to a certain extent, but most of that comes down to the breeds where you can like really see the like the handprint of the creator on those, like, by which I mean,
sure, those
like
are
your
worse,
toy animals,
but that's not necessarily
like your corgis,
yeah.
Like, you know, I think when a dog is like a healthier breed.
No, but I like
kind
that.
of like purpose built, like a mutt, or
I like the healthy dog.
Yeah.
Who's just like your companion, and it's like we're both here. But you know, cats aren't really like that.
Cats aren't really like that. Cats are a lot.
And your cat
cats are
is
a lot
like this
dumber than dogs, but
and
cats
your
are
cat
also
is like
not
a
really
delicate spaz. It's weird. Like I'll see, you know, like something from like, you know, like recently, the very FIFO I referenced earlier. Like she posts, you know, a picture of like a puppy with like her boyfriend or something. I'm like, all right, I'm not made of stone. That's adorable, you know. And let's go to the story. It's like, oh look, he's chewing on his own foot. Dum, that's your foot. That's not a bone. It's not
food.
That's not. You're not supposed to chew on that.
Get a good meal off that.
Adorable. No? And then I scroll down to Lloyd's. For some reason, his apartment is always underlit, and you know, it's just this kitten with its head spinning around like the girl from The Exorcist. And I'm like, I don't know, I don't like this as much. So I have the capacity to enjoy it. Eugene just kind of weirds me out. Maybe I would like him more if I met him, but that would never happen because Lloyd would never allow me in his home.
You are not allowed past the threshold because of what I fear you might do, what havoc you might wreak.
That's all right. I accept my station in life. I get it.
Oh, no.
I need a few thousand more followers to be allowed into Lloyd's home.
That's right.
Yeah.
One must have standards after all.
That's true. And I respect that. I respect the hierarchy. That's fine.
Oh.
That's fine.
Hey,
I'll take
bring
the
that
knocks.
in here. Don't bring that in here. This is a nice podcast.
Yeah,
This is a podcast that, you know, we know what's what.
Sure.
We're not about the hierarchies here, except for maybe Ralph. You know,
I think about these things. I think about these things often. Look, I'm really, you know, I may be a, for lack of a better word, bad person, but I'm not an entitled person. So it's like, look, you have a lot more followers than me. I get it. In this arena, you're better than me. You wanna push me around. You wanna deny me faves. You wanna flagellate me. You wanna fuck my ass. Do it. Fine. I get it. I get it. I'm less than you, Lloyd. And it hurts me every day. I feel like class tension with you, with like the disparity in followers. I'm like, God, fucking Lloyd, retweeting me out of pity.
I put in the time.
For a while, I thought... I
earned this clout.
I know.
That's a horrible
For a while,
way
I thought you muted me, even after we started the podcast.
That I muted you?
Yeah. And until you retweeted my Bernie Sanders tweet, I was like, that motherfucker muted me. That's why he's only aware of the tweets that I tagged him in. And I was going to confront you at the beginning of this episode, but then you diffused that situation
with the nice RT.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know how to like finagle these things. Just give you.
No, I know. You know
the
how to
right amount of attention. Because I can't just gas you up.
You know how to pacify the unwashed masses.
That's right. Just throw them.
The peasant gentry. Yeah. Like, yes, friends.
Enjoy your harvest festival. Yeah.
Have a fave. Oh, thank you, Lord Howler. That's what it feels like. And it's fine.
That's a horrible way to
listen. Lloyd, if once in a blue moon, Lloyd wants to deign to show me some love on the timeline, I'm going to turn it away? I got fucking nothing else. It's the only gig in town. Fine.
You should block me, just to maintain your dignity.
Block. Yeah, it's true.
Block my ass,
That's true.
Deny it. We'll have to communicate through back channels.
Or become very hostile.
I'm not interested in that, right?
Oh, okay. I don't know. Just spitballing.
I don't want to be hostile to you, It's the economy of online.
This has been a very inside baseball episode.
Seems to have been. I think that's okay for now. Like our listenership is in the low tens.
Don't tell them. Don't tell them the analytics.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said anything.
Tens of many.
Of many's.
Yeah. You got to fake it till you make it.
You're right.
You want the viewer doesn't want to think they're one of only a dozen people.
But all I'm saying, we can talk a little inside baseball. We're leaning heavily on the mutuals here.
No. As I established in the first episode, I'm all about being as self-indulgent and gratuitous as possible.
Yeah,
no dignity here. This is a dignity-free zone.
You are not required to listen to this podcast. You can.
No. Okay. No. You are required to listen to it.
Do whatever you want with your life.
And if you don't listen to it, I will find you and I will kill you. So please listen.
He will make your life worse somehow.
Sometimes, and I'm stupid that way. I don't care about jail. I'll kill you. Listen to my fucking podcast. But
not a lot to lose, folks.
So you got any dirtbag stories?
Gosh, well, friends of mine. Okay. Good fella. Let me just preface this by saying
you always say this.
Good fella.
Don't you ever just talk shit?
I am interested in maintaining the goodwill between me and my...
When was the last time you burned a bridge?
Oh, gosh.
Because for me, it's like Wednesday.
People won't let me burn bridges with them. They keep throwing the harpoon and
here's the
reeling
thing.
Old Lloyd back in.
I've burnt some bridges, but that's because, I'm not someone who's accepting of objectionable, whatever my metric of objectionable behavior is, I've known a lot of dirtbags, and it's like, Ralph, with every episode you tell these horror stories about these, strange, amoral men, and it's like, I don't know. Sometimes you don't see someone's true colors until the third time they've headbutted someone in the middle of the fucking quad, all right? So, really, I'm morally scrupulous. Is my point.
I'm trying to think of like a good story that would fit into this category. A lot of the stories that I have are just like kind of sad. Like,
sure,
the guys aren't being bad enough in them to like we wouldn't be laughing at this man. We would be, that's a shame.
I knew another guy in college. I'll share one then.
Okay.
And
I'm thinking while we continue.
So, as I've said before, Lloyd and I went to film school, the same film school, and it was a conservatory. So it's like every class you share with like the same 15 to 20 people, or at least that's how it was. And freshman year, there's this guy in my class. He was not my friend. I'll preface this by saying this was not a friend. This was just a guy who was in my class. Let's call him Roger. and he was the most like nakedly evil man I've ever known. Like to the extent that you couldn't even get mad about it. Because like what makes people mad is hypocrisy. It's when someone like poses as a good person, but then when you see them, because hypocrisy insults your intelligence.
Right.
So people really
it's like
hate.
you tried to trick me.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he's acting like he's a good person, but really I know he's shitty. So like hypocrisy gets people disproportionately mad, whereas this guy was just like the devil.
Okay.
He was just like the embodiment of evil. He was like this emaciated, just like pale guy, and like he had this like huckster affect where it's like he's always trying to get something from you, like, hey man, cool, yeah, that's cool, you want to do blah blah blah. You know, it's just like he was just like the devil. So it's like, how can you get mad at the devil? It's like you see him walking, you know, across the dining hall, and it's like, oh, there's the devil. You know.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, like you can't really get mad at it. And he was like kind of like a predatory guy and just like constantly trying to swindle people out of things. I remember there was like a dark period where I would trade driving him to the gas station for like drugs or something. But anyway, he was also a heroin addict, and he was using freshman year. And this is an insane experience. So we had a screenwriting class, and it's like, you know, you write like a 15-page screenplay, you read it aloud to the class, and there's like group crit. And he's in the class, and me and my close friend seem to be the only person who picked up on this, but he's like clearly in the throes of withdrawals. Like his face looks like a fucking guppy. He's like eyes wide, just mouth and oval, sweating profusely.
Okay.
But everyone seems to be fucking oblivious.
Sure.
And so he starts reading his screenplay. And the screenplay is about a young heroin addict who's seeing a therapist. And it's like we read along, like you print out for everybody, we like read along as they're reading. And of course it's like, you know, full of like formatting errors and like bad grammar or whatever. So it's just this like hastily written, just like train wreck of a screenplay about a heroin addict who's seeing his therapist, and all this fucked up shit happens, obviously modeled on himself if you haven't caught up with me. But the screenplay ends with like he's in a session with the therapist, and he gets up and, you know, he's like, there's no hope for me, life is fucking bullshit and you can't help me, and he takes out a gun and he kills the therapist and then himself. So I'm not a therapist myself, but at the time it read as a red flag.
Sure, you know.
At least did not seem like a positive sign.
No.
You know?
If you're gonna read the writing on the wall,
I mean,
you're gonna
look,
interpret those signs.
Look, it's fiction. It's a screenwriting class.
Oh yeah.
But you look at all the facts. It's not pointing towards something, I would wager, not positive. But here's the worst part is, so after he reads, everyone just does the same old dim-witted group crit that they always do.
Yeah.
So you have all these like fucking pretentious 18-year-olds who are like, yeah, I mean, like, you didn't even like format the script properly.
Thank you so much.
And it's like, yeah, Roger, like I really feel like, you know, like the dialogue isn't really like realistic. And he's like nodding along as they're saying this, just
yeah,
like,
for sure, guys. Thanks so much.
like at fucking death's door. And it was just like wild to me. It was like this person who is like just absolutely addicted to this deadly drug in the throes of withdrawals, reading his shitty screenplay to just like a room of indifferent dumbasses. You know, it was wild.
I am curious how I guess this is like revealing my limits here, but like I don't know if I would be able to tell if someone was in heroin withdrawal.
I mean, I was 18. Like, it's not like I was an expert on drugs, but like it was
something was clearly wrong.
But it's like it was somehow it was known he was a heroin addict.
Oh, okay.
And he looked fucking sick as shit. You know, I mean,
if it's gonna be something, it was probably that.
Yeah, and I think people talked about it, and it's like, I don't know. He was like he was sweating sheets and he was hyperventilating. It's like,
yeah,
you know, you have half a brain, you put two and two together.
Right,
but,
okay.
Yeah.
So it's not a subtle thing.
No, not at all. Yeah.
God, fucking group critique.
But it was just so funny
sessions.
because like my class was like full of so many stupid people, so it was just so funny to see something like so real and just like pitch black and awful, but still being like fed through the same dumb machine, the same dumb rituals.
Let us take this at face value and
It was
just
like so
churn through it.
It was so poignant, you know. Yeah, it was something.
Oh boy,
It's a treasured memory. But
is that guy still alive? Is he around?
he texted me. Well, see, guys like that, like he's gonna live forever. He's gonna outlive all of us. Like he's a fucking cockroach. He's always gonna live. He's one of those guys who like never picks up that you don't like him.
Okay.
You know, so he like I think he like texted me like 2 years ago, just out of the blue, because you know it's always some kind of hustle. It's like, hey Ralph, how you been? How you doing, buddy? And like he claimed to have a semi-successful catering business in upstate New York. How true that is, I don't know, but he claimed he was working for celebrities. I don't know, but I mean, he was a pathological liar, but also I wouldn't be surprised. In a way, he was a very enterprising young man, but you know what's fucked up about that guy? You know what's so tragic is that I remember I tweeted about this, but no one follows me, so I'll just use it on the podcast.
Okay, for God's sakes, everyone, please just go follow Ralph.
No.
It's please God help me, please.
No.
He's got a
PLS, God help me, PLS. But I remember once we were like in the dining hall, and he comes up to me and my good friend, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, turning over a new leaf." And I'm like, "Oh, cool, Roger, man, that's good to hear." Yeah. I'm totally straight edge except for vodka and cocaine. And it's like, of all the things, it's so hilarious. Like two corrosive, colorless things. Like, even if you like to drink, it's so funny that it's like vodka, like the flavorless, just
utilitarian.
Clear, just like no character to vodka, but it's just like, I put vodka and cocaine into my system. Just the two corrosive, colorless agents. It's not even like, I love bourbon, so I'm drinking bourbon. Or it's like, I like to smoke weed, but no, it's
the distillation
vodka,
of the drugs of that category.
Yeah, no character, just give me the corrosion. It's like, I'm straight edge except for vodka and cocaine. Those are my limits. Draw the line there. Gotta turn over a new leaf, man. You know? Look, people change. You gotta make changes to your life. You gotta evolve. Straight edge except for vodka and cocaine.
Only forward.
And the fucked up thing is that I remember there was like a weekend where he was sober. And this is what's so tragic. He was even more evil sober, because it was just like, because it's like the drugs were inhibiting him.
Oh dear.
It's like he was less powerful being beleaguered by drugs, but when he was sober he was just like this efficient shark. And I remember just like, he had a mohawk at the time, and I remember him just like sizing up a crowd and just kind of like a snake, like just kind of like careening left and right. And it was just like, damn, the devil is operating at full capacity. So it's like, God, someone get this man some heroin just for everyone
Take
else's
the edge
sake.
off. Come on.
Just for everyone else's sake, give this monster some heroin.
God. I guess I'm not sure who you're talking about now. I thought I knew who it was, but I'm no longer sure. We'll talk afterwards. But
You know what I wanted to know?
Yeah, go ahead.
Speaking of that, people who you may or may not know, when did you and I become friends?
Well after both of us graduated.
I know that, but I couldn't pinpoint when for some reason. It was before I took over the job that you left, right? Was it not before that?
I think it was afterwards.
Did we not hang out before that?
No.
Really?
Not in any meaningful way.
But for some reason you were on my radar. Like, I knew who you were.
I wonder why that was. We've talked about Sam before on the show, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So like, I was
You were his
Sam's
mentor.
mentor in college, and like
you had a lot of great times together.
The reputation of Ralph and Sam in school was menacing, and like, you know.
Wow, really?
Yeah. You didn't. I mean,
I figured just among our class.
Yeah, you were known to others.
Okay.
Just these two were a legendary pair of mischief and mayhem, and I simply had too many responsibilities at the time to engage with you two.
Yeah.
I had too much to lose.
Yeah. But like, when was the first time we started hanging out? For some reason, I thought it was longer ago than that, but I guess not.
It was after the job.
Like, when did I reach out to?
I think you.
It's like
oh, you know what?
It's like you were already a meme in my head. I was like, Lloyd, that's a guy. You know.
I feel I had a bad breakup like probably 4 years ago now.
Okay.
And I know we had like hung out like a time or two before that.
Sure. Or through other people.
Yeah,
we were at the same thing. Yeah. Because I mentioned that Halloween party a few episodes back, but I feel like I was already like fucking with you by that Halloween party.
Yeah.
I feel like we were already friends by that Halloween party.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like,
I'm sure this is thrilling to the listeners. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, whatever.
Piece together our history if you want to. Yeah.
But was there something you were going to say before I interjected about heroin addicts, dirtbags?
I was going to bring up this guy who. This is a very different kind of person. Like you are describing like a bad actor, like a a bad egg.
Cartoon villain. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to describe someone who
a little more complicated.
Well, I wouldn't say more complicated. I would say, another source of bad things in the world, but for a very different reason. And so this guy, we're going to call him Kevin. He's a couple of years older than me. Also film school, but he got alcohol poisoning and like got kicked out of school for 2 years, and then he came back and he arrives in my class, and this guy is.
Seems like there was a lot of these.
There were a few of those.
Should we name our alma mater?
Let's not.
Okay.
I'd much rather not.
This is very familiar to me.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. But this guy he's like a baby bat. Like he doesn't know how to take care of himself. He's like
baby bat.
Maybe that's a bad analogy, but like
I don't know anything about baby bats.
Flightless, pink, squirming.
So he was those three things.
Yes.
Okay.
In many ways, and.
So a flightless, pink and squirming alcoholic.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, very much. And like he kind of glommed on to me.
Mm-hmm. You're very glom-omable.
I am.
I think.
I am. Yeah. People take advantage.
You don't turn
easy.
people away.
I've started to, but it's been a long time, like in the works.
Sure.
I have a really hard time, like turning people down. But and as you might expect, this guy needs a lot of help. And so.
So what? He's just like oversharing with you left and right, confiding in you.
Well, no, just like asking. Okay, so like normal experiences during that year, like we'd have a lot of projects, and Kevin would just require so much support from the rest of us to just like get him over the finish line. And it just kind of became. It
sucks to be that guy in college.
Yeah. Right.
Like you're paying to be here.
Just not getting it done. Just
Especially film school. Film school is a fucking breeze.
Like just do anything.
Yeah.
And you'll probably be fine. And this guy, he could not fucking get it together. He was just really drunk every night. Like had a lot of confidence though, for whatever reason. Just really loved his own ideas. And I remember junior year.
Wow, so he was an overconfident jackass and someone who outsourced a lot of work to other people.
So much work.
God, so many unbelievably shitty people went to our school. Were in that film program. It drove me fucking insane. You want to know why we were fucking infamous? Because we were sick of fucking people like that. It drove us crazy. That's our point of view. That's our side of the fucking story. They were idiots who didn't take their art seriously, and that offends me.
No, listen, there is something to be said for reacting to.
I was correct and right, and I regret nothing. I did nothing wrong.
Ralph did nothing wrong.
I would do it again. What Lloyd calls evil, I call, the buck stops here. All right. Someone has to take a fucking stand.
Oh, God.
These people are full of shit.
Many of them are. Listen, there is something to be said for that.
It's not mean to be mean to forces of evil in the world. That's not mean. That's justified.
I think at your best, Ralph, that is what you do. and I think a lot of us can appreciate that.
Thank you. This is like the interpersonal equivalent of a fave.
Yes.
Thank you, my liege. Thank you. Continue with your story.
Okay, so this guy, are you familiar with the term simp? Have you heard that bandied about?
I saw you tweet once. What does simp mean? And it took every fiber of my being not to respond with a link to the Google image search for mirror.
Oh boy. Someday you'll answer for what you've done to me. Oh. See, I figured. I mean, I forget. Someone else did that. So
yeah. Oh, did they?
It had been.
Well, it's basically, in my estimation, it's like synonymous with cuck, or it stands like slave something mediocre pussy. What does it stand for?
Well, I think no. I think simp is just short for simpering.
Sure, but it's also an acronym, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that part. Okay. Well, the way I take it to mean is just kind of a pathetic kind of like a fella who really needs. How do I want to say this? Like needs, like puts his problems on others to an extent that is like.
Well, I mean, what it really means is like a guy who's like very. I mean, I'm not saying I approve of this term, but it means like you're like pandering to a woman. You're like very pathetically trying to ingratiate yourself to a woman.
Oh, is it specifically like a way you act around women? Is that what it refers to?
I think it's like kind of a gendered thing.
Oh, really?
But I think more generally, it's similar to cuck. You know,
I thought it just meant kind of a pathetic guy.
Well, what do you mean?
I mean he's like really just kind of the aspect of a baby animal. Just so defenseless and like in need of constantly
looking for
comfort.
People to mommy and daddy him.
Yes.
It's
and
like you were one of those daddies.
Please, adult, like help me accomplish this task.
I totally understand what you're saying. Yeah.
So for whatever reason, like there was like a small. My class didn't really get along with one another, and so the friend groups were pretty fragmented.
Mine neither. Yeah.
But there was like a kind of a core cadre of people who knew what they were doing, who were like generally considered competent, and like I was probably the least of those, but you
were in the good camp.
I was in the decent enough camp, and
my experience was very similar.
Yeah.
Except I was the best in the class. But
go on.
Yeah,
naturally. Yeah. But I got roped into helping with Kevin's junior film.
Okay.
And I mean, how that ended up going was like he let his friends in Yonkers let him shoot in their apartment for like a weekend, and so it was like a relationship drama. Ugh. Like not a comedy, like a relationship drama.
I have seen more student films than anyone.
Oh boy,
they are dreadful.
Don't watch them.
And the ones that are about quote unquote relationships, people walking around and having feelings.
Ooh.
Fucking.
I would rather drink bleach.
Stab me in the heart with a knife.
Absolutely fuck off.
Just the hours of my life wasted watching the most abject fucking dog shit.
Really?
Holy fuck.
I think we're vibing on this wavelength, Ralph. Like I'm here with you.
You're
on this.
starting to understand why I have been the way I have been, I think. Because see, you responded in film school by rolling over, and I responded by lashing out.
Yeah.
But we both suffered the same affliction.
Yes. And
so he's making this fucking dog shit relationship movie, right?
Yeah. And you know how these things go. You put an ad in Craigslist, you go on Mandy.com, you're like, okay, we're going to cast someone.
Sure. Or there's acting websites that
there's
are
these
similar.
acting websites. Yeah. And so how it always ends up going is, you know, you are I guess at this point you're 20 years old. No, Kevin was 22 at this point.
Because he's older.
He's older.
Yeah.
And he, you know, brings in like a bevy of beautiful young actresses.
Okay.
To audition for the lead. The lead female in this piece.
Surely the woman who wrongs the sensitive protagonist, right?
No, this was a relationship drama where she is a rebound.
Oh, okay.
From some awful other
from the bitch. She's the good naif who comes in at the end.
And so she is like a source of comfort. To him.
Cliches abounding.
And he is healed by her.
Ugh. God.
But Kevin ends up casting this beautiful young woman who has since become like a successful actress. So she's doing fine. I'm not
the famous actress.
I would rather not.
We can only benefit from this.
We're
not going to take her down.
Listen,
she can only bring us up.
Don't come on. So,
folks, it was Brie Larson.
It was Brie Larson.
He told me this before the recording.
Yeah. I didn't want it to get out this way, but it was Brie Larson.
Yes. This podcast is very scripted, so beforehand
we go through all this.
Lloyd was like, "By the way, it was Brie Larson."
Yeah, but, I'm gonna put up a big show of not wanting you to say so,
because she listens to the pod, and I want her to think that I'm like protective of her image. So,
Brie, follow Ralph back.
I actually don't like her, but I would gladly accept the follow. But go on.
Okay, so Kevin casts Brie Larson in this movie, and there was originally like some more people on the crew. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, we got a light kit, we got a camera, we got our HVX. We're gonna shoot this relationship drama at this house in Yonkers over a weekend. Mm-hmm. We got craft services, we got all this stuff. Everybody drops out except for me, and so.
That sucks.
Including so it ends up being me, this actress, Kevin, and Kevin did not even attempt to cast like a male lead in this.
Wow, interesting.
It was always meant to be him.
Oh, okay.
So this is a thing that tends to happen in film school. It's like you're a guy, you write a movie that has a sex scene in it. Oof. And then you cast a beautiful woman and I'm gonna play the lead.
That did happen a few times.
Yeah, it keeps happening.
It's wild that someone could be like that transparent doing something like that. How do you not have any self-consciousness? Like me, I'm overly self-conscious of like my relationship to actors whenever I make something. I really try to prioritize their comfort, but to do something like that nakedly a horny move, it's like such a faux pas. That's ridiculous.
It's really gross.
What a dumbass.
It's really gross.
Yeah.
And because the power dynamics on set, it's like it is your director. The person that you've agreed to do this project for.
Yeah,
and in this case, they're not even being paid.
Granted, it's a film student, but at the same time, it's like you're an acting student.
Yeah.
And, you've been taught to respect the director and try to make connections. It's just
you don't have anything. Like the most you can hope to get out of this is some kind of exposure if somehow the film does well. It's a really bad proposition. If you're an aspiring actor, don't act in student films.
Don't do student films.
It's not worth it. I
co-sign that. I mean, look, I guess you can build your reel, but at least be extremely skeptical.
Be so choosy.
Yeah.
There are going to be so many more student films.
It probably is a valuable experience if you haven't worked on the camera
if you haven't done anything.
But proceed with caution.
The return will be so low.
Yes.
You won't be able to imagine.
And the movie will most likely be so bad.
So bad. You will excise it from your reel as soon as you have a fucking McDonald's commercial or anything.
You will email them politely asking to take it off of Vimeo.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, so let's get to.
Oh God! It was.
So it's just you, and they're shooting this.
It's just
scene.
me. The guys
operating the camera.
I'm operating the camera. I am setting up all the lights. I am coordinating craft services, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. I am one man banding this film, and it is freezing cold in this apartment. And Kevin keeps drinking, he's
drinking.
Yeah. He's like, I'm gonna be nervous during this scene.
Oh my God!
So
you really shouldn't have involved yourself with this guy. You must have been such a pushover. Oh my God!
I've grown.
So he's drunk
in the years.
You're doing all the work. They're prepping for this sex scene.
And listen, in hindsight, I should have pulled the plug on this because because I wasn't
but like
kind of strident with this guy.
You're in this deep. It's like, what are you going to do? Like,
yeah, like I'm here.
His poor excuse for a junior film.
Sure. But like,
so what happens?
I mean, there's no enormous
was there nudity?
Fallout from this, but there was like a fucking sex scene where it's like a point of view sex scene,
right?
Of like, Kevin and this poor woman, like, alone in this apartment except for me.
And only Lloyd.
Lloyd, like, scampering around, fucking doing everything. And like, I remember this.
I gotta tell you, Lloyd, you preface this with your classic ass covering saying, look, this is a guy who meant well. He doesn't sound like a guy.
No. That was a different guy. That was a different story. This guy doesn't mean well. Okay. I think he's a worm.
So this guy sucks.
This guy sucks ass. I can get back to that story later if you want to, but it's less interesting.
Okay.
I mean, okay. Long story short, like, it's just this kind of carnival of
small,
gross, horny moments,
hideously awkward moments.
Yeah. Just a waste of everyone's time, and
I'm sure it resulted in a great film.
I remember I had to help him edit it too. Like, but I think the point that I wanted to make by telling this story is that, I did, and my main takeaway was just how uncomfortable, the lead actress was.
Sure.
Being there, like, because Kevin had kind of put this situation together that was like, not like threatening, but it's like there's like an element of sunk cost already. It's like, okay, I'm here. Like, what am I going to not do the movie now?
Of course.
Like,
No, that's always a weird area.
Just the fact that there was like why is anyone here? Like, why have you done this to us, Kevin?
Yes.
Like, you've
and there's like clearly no vision, no intent.
No vision.
There's
he just wants
nothing,
to like
nothing justifies this.
He just wants to like just make out with and simulate sex with a hot actress. Like,
awful.
Like predatory.
And you were
and because
you're complicit.
And because I was a nice guy about it, I just kind of,
you were complicit.
I was enabling, which is worse than complicit. So
your niceness caused you to enable, pretty awkward, not ideal thing.
So,
moral
in
of the
this
story,
case, this looks bad for me. This looks bad for old Lloyd. Like,
makes what I said about your kitten sound not so bad.
Not so bad, really.
So before we wrap up here, I have 2 orders of business. First is, if I may, Lloyd, this episode is going to drop on your birthday.
You're right, it is, isn't it?
Is that true?
That's right. That's
you
right.
Are turning
this is going to be
32?
Monday, the 11th. Yep.
You're turning the big 3-2?
That's right.
We were reminiscing about school a lot here. And, I consider you the same age as me, like, in my head, like, we talk the same language, we have the same reference points. I don't necessarily view you as someone older than me, but in a way, paradoxically, I see you as someone who's like on the rung just above me. Like, you're on the precipice of the very next wave. And it could just be because I was a freshman in school when you were a senior.
Yeah.
But I can't help but view you with a little bit of a senior status.
Okay.
Like, like you're a reference point in my head.
Interesting.
Because what I like about you, one of the things I like about you is that you strike me as someone who stays true to his younger self, meaning his interests, his sense of humor, things like that, but you're simultaneously able to be a more mature version of that younger self. Because I feel like a lot of people, like, they get in their late 20s or they turn 30 and they're like, oh, well, this is the way I have to behave now. I'm going to start wearing flannel shirts and being an adult. But you're not like that. Like, it's been graceful. And it's actually been instructive to me because I know a lot of freaks, as this podcast has evidenced. And I love many of them to death, and they have passions that inspire me. But it's like, I think of Lloyd and I think, all right, there's a version of this that works as a mature adult. You don't have to abandon the whole thing. And I think the word for that is authenticity. I think you're an authentic person.
Well, that's very nice of you to say, Ralph. Thank you.
And in many ways, I feel like I've come to look up to you.
Huh.
And I don't know why you haven't accomplished anything in life.
Not a thing.
But you're something of a role model to me.
Well, thank you, Ralph.
I just
glad.
wanted to say happy birthday.
Thank you so much, Ralph.
Cool.
That's really nice.
Yeah. And since we started promoting the podcast, you know, some of the people who follow you, they follow me, I follow them back. Lovely people, contrary to my cavalier insults on the last episode. But
You really got your asses.
one such mutual, I forget his handle. It wasn't a very memorable handle. Get a more memorable handle, buddy, if you want me to shout you out. But he tweeted something out, perhaps in jest. He said that I will say anything in a Smeagol or Gollum voice for $5. And I responded, anything? And he said, unfortunately, yes. And we went into the DMs, and this doesn't relate to you. Okay. In retrospect, I should have made it about your birthday, but it's not. It's a non sequitur, but let's say that this is your birthday gift. So I sent him a transcript of what I wanted him to say as Gollum. And, you know, there was a bit of a beat. And he said, are you going to use this to harass someone? And,
Oh, no.
and I said, no, I just think it's funny. I just want it to exist. And he was like, all right, fine. I just want to see Lloyd squirm. So this follower, I just tried to think of the worst thing that could be heard in Gollum's voice.
Okay.
So this is what one of your mutuals did for me.
Baby wants some pussy. Baby wants some pussy, mommy. Please. Baby wants some pussy.
Jesus Christ.
Mommy. Baby wants some pussy. Pussies. We want it. We want it.
So that was Gollum.
Oh my God.
Begging for pussy. Performed by Twitter user at 877AskNow. And I think he did a wonderful job. So
Dude, that is a very good Gollum voice.
this could be what sinks the podcast. But.
I am.
So this mutual of yours, is he a good guy?
He's a lovely
I'll
young
give him
man.
credit for showing trepidation, but like the good pay pig he is, he lowered himself to recording that for $5.
That's a very good voice. That's a very good Gollum. Like, credit where credit's due. Like
Gollum begging for pussy.
that
From his mommy? I don't know.
from his
Interpret it how you will. But anyway, that'll probably sink the podcast.
Yeah,
But,
this has been fun.
on that note, happy birthday, Lloyd.
Thank you, Ralph.
Follow him at Void Howler. Follow me at PLS. God help me, PLS. Follow the show at Feeling Well Pod. And you can follow me on Instagram, especially Emotion Alley, at Ralph Maffatone. Lloyd, always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. See you next time.
Later, folks.
Baby wants some pussy. Baby wants some pussy, mommy. Please. Baby wants some pussy. Mommy. Mommy. Baby wants some pussy. Pussies. We want it. We want it. Give it to them.